Okay, y'all, I've been a giant slacker, but homework help is back. Today on homework help, I'm going to do questions. So we're doing the quadratic equations by factoring problem bank number 1, which is a lot. 6, 8, 11, 17, and 43. I'm going to do them on a separate sheet of paper because this is not enough room for me. Okay, so I'll start with number 6. Okay, what's happening here? Okay, so number 6 says y squared plus 7y equals 0. So right now I know I'm already set up for factoring because it's set equal to 0. That has to be true. In order for me to be able to use solving by factoring, it has to be set equal to 0, or I have to get it set equal to 0. So that's my first step taken care of. I'm equal to 0. Now I have to factor. The first step in factoring is finding a GCF. I do have a GCF because both of these can be divided by y. So y squared divided by y is y. 7y divided by y is 7. Well, you might be looking at this and going, okay, what do I do now? You're done now. Because this is not quadratic and this is not quadratic. Once you get them linear, you're done factoring. Okay? So once you get them linear and you've taken out the GCF, you're done factoring. So this one is already ready to set equal to 0. So I'm going to set the first term, the first factor, which is my GCF, y, equal to 0. I'm going to set my second term, my second factor, which is y plus 7 equal to 0. Well, there's nothing to solve here. I've already found one of my factors. One of my factors is y equals 0. This one I have to solve. I get y equals negative 7. I had a lot of people look at me funny today when I did this, but remember, if one of your factors is just a letter, it's already set equal to 0, you don't have to do any more solving. We set every single one of our factors equal to 0. And since this one set equal to 0 is already done, I'm done with that one. I have to solve this one, so my two factors are 0 and negative 7. Okay? Let's look at number 8. Number 8 is z squared minus 36 equals 0. Well, this one isn't even hard. Okay? This one is dots. Okay? So remember, when it's a difference of two squares, I have different signs inside. Okay, if it's a perfect square trinomial, then I have the same sign. Okay, so z squared minus 36 is perfect square minus perfect square. So I'm going to put the square root of z in the front of both of these. I'm going to put the square root of 36, which is 6, in the back of them. Since they're already equal to 0, I'm going to now set each factor equal to 0, and then I solve. And these are my two solutions. With dots, you're always going to have two solutions and they'll always be opposites. Okay? Let's look at number 11. 11 made a lot of people go, what? They got crazy face. Okay? Y squared equals 4y plus 12. Okay? So I need to get everything on the same side of the equal sign. I could subtract y squared from both sides to get them both on the same side of the equal sign, but my box doesn't work when y is negative. So I'm going to move both of these. So I'm going to subtract 4y from both sides. Now I have y squared minus 4y equals 12. It looks like this one, but this one is set equal to 0 and this one isn't. Factoring only works when we're set equal to 0 because of the zero product property we talked about in class today. So I have to subtract 12 from both sides. Now I have y squared minus 4y minus 12 equals 0. And now I'm ready to factor. So I can put it in the box. Negative 6y, 2y. And then I take out my GCF. Now I have my two factors. Y plus 2 times y minus 6 equals 0. So I'm going to set them both equal to 0. Y plus 2 equals 0. Y minus 6 equals 0. And I'm going to solve them. And there's my two solutions. All right? Number 17 is actually not that hard. Number 17 is actually a lot like number 6. But it doesn't look the same right now. I have n squared equals 7n. Well, remember, I have to have them both on the same side of the equal sign. So I'm going to subtract 7n from both sides. n squared minus 7n equals 0. Now, I mean, this looks exactly the same as number 6, except instead of y's, we have n's, and we have a minus sign. So I'm going to take out my GCF, which is n, and then I'm going to set, now that I've got everything linear, I'm going to set my factors equal to 0. N equals 0, and minus 7 equals 0. Well, this one's already done, and that one I just have to solve. Okay? The last thing I want to go over with you is I want to go over question number 43. 43 is a word problem, so let me kind of put this right here so we can see it. It says, the square of a number is 56 more than the number itself. Okay? So I have a number squared is 56 more than the number itself. Okay, so that's what I wrote over there. The square of a number, x is the number, is equals 56 more means plus 56. The number itself means x. So this is all out of order. So I'm going to put it together the right way. So I have x squared, the square of a number, is 56 more than the number itself. There we go. It's written. I know you guys are like, it's not really that easy, Mrs. Deal. I know it's not. But we got to practice it. This, y'all are like, I don't know how to do the word problems. The only way you're going to get better is by practicing them. You have to practice them. You have to try to write the equations for them. You have to. Okay, so just like question number 11, I'm going to move everything to the left. So I'm going to subtract x, and I'm going to subtract 56 to zero those out. So I have x squared minus x minus 56 equals 0. And now I'm ready to factor it. Okay. So x, I'm sorry, I'm going to actually factor it for you, sorry. X squared minus 56. It needs to add up to -1, so that's going to be -8 times 7. X minus 8, x plus 7. So my factors are x minus 8 and x plus 7 equals 0. So if I add 8 to both sides, I get x equals 8. If I subtract 7 from both sides, I get x equals -7. So you may be thinking, this is a real-world situation. Does this situation make sense? Well, let's look back at the problem and check and see if it gives me true statements. Now, for this one here, if I got a negative width for number 41, I would say, no, that totally doesn't make sense. You can't have negative real-world things. You can't have negative chickens or negative apples or negative people. They can have a negative attitude, but they can't actually be negative because that's not a thing. Okay? But if we're talking about numbers, as long as the things we get are true, it should be okay. So I got x equals 8 and x equals -7. Okay, well, so it's x squared equals 56 plus x. Okay? Okay, so x squared, so let's say it's 64, so that would be 64 equals 56 plus 8. 56 plus 8 is 64, so that's true. Okay? X squared for this one will be 49, because -7 times -7 is 49, equals 56 plus -7. Well, 56 minus 7 is 49, and that's true also. So both of these answers are true, because they're numbers, and I'm just looking at numbers. If I was looking at, like, a piece of sheet metal, this would not be true, because I can't have negative inches. Or if I was looking at, a strip of asphalt, I couldn't have a -7 as an answer. That can't be a width or a length. But since I'm just looking at numbers, it's okay for me to have negatives. All right? Try your best on the rest of the homework. If you have any more questions, bring them to me tomorrow.